Hello, today we are looking into the Cambridge IGCSE music paper and we are looking at revision today regarding section B, world music. So we're focusing on a generalization of each of the general world music topics. So we are going to look at all 7 today, just in a nutshell, how to describe each of them. Yeah, I will give you tips on what to look for in each of the world music traditions. And then also I will be linking in the description below a very good recording on YouTube that link to each of these world music traditions. Okay, just a little side note here, this is not an exhaustive video, so if this is the first time you've ever heard of Section B and world music for Cambridge IGCSE, this is not the video for you. This is more for revision purposes, to sort of sum up each of the world music traditions in a sentence or two, with also a very good listening example of the specific world music tradition. So of course, if you're looking for revision, this is the video for you, but if you're not, jump out, watch something else, and then when you are ready for revision, this will be the video for you. Okay, so here we go, let's jump in. This is your revision crash course. So, in no particular order, we are starting in Africa. So, we have African fire. So here with African music, you're going to think catchy rhythms, polyrhythms, percussion instruments like the djembe and the kora. Now, the djembe is basically a big African drum. Okay, remember this. It is a nice big drum, a handheld drum mostly. And then we also have the kora, which is important in this music. Also marimbas that we will hear. But the kora is like an African harp with killer sound, really. So we have that going for us. And a good example of African music is pata pata. And I have linked below a version by a Zimbabwean musician. The Zimbabwean classic now features infectious rhythms, call and response vocals, and then prominent use of the mbira, which is the African thumb piano. Some things to pay attention to here in African music: call and response, where there is a call by a singer, a solo singer, a response by the group, which sometimes does include the solo singer as well. So call, response. We also have a small range of pitches, and we can have parallel harmony in African music. Now we move on to Arabic music. So let's think Arabic Oasis. Okay, so in African music and Arabic music, we're not focusing on specific countries when it comes to the world music traditions. We're focusing more on the area as a whole. So Africa as a continent, and then we speak about Arabic or Arab tradition as music and traditions coming from that of the Arab world. And there are many countries that link with the Arab world. So we have the Middle East, but we also have North Africa, which falls under this specific style. So here we're picturing soulful vocals, beautiful string instruments like the oud, which is basically like a lute. The Western lute actually comes from the design of the Eastern oud. And we also have hypnotic melodies that are super chill or really exciting. There are repetitions and there are pitch bends. So a good example for listening here is Habibi Inta. And here we have Lebanese legend Fairuz exemplifying the Arabic music beauty. Okay, it's very beautiful here. We have soothing vocals blending in with soulful melodies of the oud, creating a captivating soundscape. So yet again, with Arabic music, tips are heterophony, so melodies being played at the same time by various instruments or even doubled on the same instruments, but the melodies are varied. So they play versions of the same melody at the same time. So heterophony, there's also a small number of pitches, there is pitch bending, there is also pitch sliding, and it is also not uncommon for both voices and instruments to be involved in the whole heterophony idea, or playing a version of a melody or singing a version of a melody at the same time. So we have layers of sound almost echoing each other at different intervals. Then we move on to Indian music, and in this video now, this is the first country-specific genre. So yes, India, not a vague region, or somewhat of a region. It is definitely a country in and of itself, so we are very country specific here. So we now have our Indian Raga party. Basically, we are left here with sitar power. Indian music, the go-to is drone. Do I hear drone? Yes, it is Indian music. Do I not hear drone? It is probably, most likely, something else. Especially when it comes to Cambridge music at the IGCSE level. They really want you to recognize that drone. The little bubbling of something at the bottom is usually done on the Indian string instrument, the tanbura, but it can also be done by a shruti box, which is also like a little drone box. So a box that makes a musical drone. There can also be different types of electronic drones these days, but never you mind if there is a drone in your world music section and you hear it, you can bet yourself it is Indian music, okay? So that is number one, the big thing. The music is also based on ragas, which are basically like musical scales that we know of in Western music. We just liken them a little bit to scales, but they're more so specific to a type of mood, which is something that we're not familiar with when it comes to Western music. So we can liken it to something that we may know, but it is different as well. So it's a scale type pattern based on a mood, and these moods can range from anything to anything. So it can be love, anger, but also any types of religious observations, any time of day, any season. This could influence your raga. So famous sitar player Ravi Shankar, we are going to listen to something by him if we would really like to listen to a top-notch Indian music example. Ravi is a total sitar maestro, and he takes center stage in the recording of Raga Yaman Kalyan. Here you will hear the intricate melodies and improvisation that showcase the depth and emotional prowess and power of Indian ragas. Then we're going to move on to gamelan music. Now gamelan music is a type of music and a type of music made by a certain ensemble from Indonesia. So once more, we are country specific here. We are in the Gamelan Groove of Indonesia. So imagine an orchestra made entirely out of metallophones, which it's basically metal instruments that you have to play by using a mallet. So you have to strike these instruments with mallets. This is your gamelan music. It's super unique. You will definitely recognize this wherever it is, whenever it comes up. You will know your gamelan music. Believe me. Now for gamelan music, we're not going to go ahead and study names of the instruments because they are unpronounceable to us English people. And I say us English people because when we're writing Cambridge, we have to be English. We can only answer the question paper in one language, no matter how many languages we speak. But I don't know where you are in the world. I am in South Africa. I have no relation to the Indonesian languages. So no, I don't speak those. So it's going to be even harder for me to name Indonesian instruments. And Cambridge does not want us to learn the gamelan instrument specifically because it will be hard for us. And also it is not necessary for this level of music. If you would like to go and study gamelan music further at university, at postgrad level, well done. Then you will need to know all the names. But your 16-year-old self right now for Cambridge IGCSE level, you do not need to know that. So this music is super unique. Like I said before, you will know it. And it includes instruments like the gongs, and definitely this music will blow your mind in one way or another. So we're stepping into the world of gamelan by listening to a gamelan ensemble called Seker Jaya. Hear the interlocking melodies of the metallophones and the punctuating gongs create a memorizing and energetic soundscape. Then we move over to Japan, yet another country-specific world music focus. So we are into Japanese Zen. So two instruments that really come to mind when I think about Japanese music that has come up before and that Cambridge will most likely want you to know about is the shakuhachi and the koto. So the shakuhachi is a bamboo flute and the koto is a zither-like instrument. Both here create calming melodies that are perfect for either studying, reflecting life's big questions. They're also very entertaining and they come up in the Japanese soundscape. Japanese music is also known to be in two halves at this point when it asks to listen to such music. And the first half is usually free metered. Second half, as more and more instruments join, there is a set meter, a set structure, set melodies, everything is more structured, more so than up in the air, so to speak. And this is true for more than one world music, definitely true for Japanese music. We're going to listen to Hozan Yamamoto playing the bamboo flute for good listening on Japanese music. So the renowned shakuhachi player here plays some serene melodies here in the bamboo flute, and they embody the peaceful and contemplative nature of Japanese music. Moving on to Chinese music, we are yet again in another country-specific music focus. We are in our Chinese opera extravaganza. So here, get ready for powerful vocals, dramatic melodies, and maybe even some cool percussion and string instruments. Think epic battles, legendary heroes. Now, of course, not all Chinese music has to do with opera. There are also solely instrumental music pieces. Same thing when we look back to Japanese music, we can also have nice dramatic vocals there. But For some good listening for Chinese specific music, I would recommend a little selection from Farewell My Concubine. Link in the description below. So this listening extract will provide you with powerful vocals, dramatic string and percussion instruments, and the storytelling essence that defines Chinese opera. Then lastly, we are moving on to Latin American music. So Latin American Fiesta, here we come. So this is another area specific genre. So Latin America is not a country, just like Africa is not a country and Arabia is not a country. So we're focusing on Latin American countries or South American countries. So yes, Brazil could come up, Uruguay could come up, Paraguay could come up, Peru could come up, Argentina could come up, Mexico could come up, different countries. And of course, within a country in and of itself, music is already so vast. So imagine within many countries and in a whole region. So we really are stripping this music down to, surface level things. We don't have time to go deep unless we have this music as our world focus for the year. Now, of course, Latin American music is the world focus for 2024. But they can only go into a few things. They can't go into everything, right? So while we acknowledge and we love music of different countries, when it does come to Cambridge, we must understand that they do ask us to understand and know a surface level of most of these things, because they would like us to at least engage with 7 different types of world music upon all our other Western art music things, upon our oral things, upon our knowledge of theoretical things. So it's a lot, and I can understand why you don't need to know everything. It's impossible for the brain to take too much information in and still have a thorough, detailed living experience of this music, right? And while we want to engage with as much music as possible, as many different cultures as possible, we are unable to within a timed syllabus, so to speak. But we can just do the very best that we can. So Latin American music, this is the final topic we're touching on for today. From salsa beats to soulful mariachi music with trumpets, Latin American music is all about vibrant rhythms, catchy melodies, and getting you in the mood to move. The listening extract that I would recommend to you is Gloria Estefan's Conga. The infectious energy of Latin American music shines through in Gloria Estefan's Conga. Lively salsa rhythms and catchy melodies are guaranteed to get you moving. Now, of course, I've just recommended one extract, one piece of listening for each of these world music examples. They're all from YouTube here. This is a nice revision point for you. There are other archetypal pieces in each of the categories. There are so many varieties and or nuances to the music as well. Just like in the music that you practice in your country or even on your instrument, no matter what style it is, you know that a certain composer, yes, has a style. A certain geographical area has a certain style. But it's not limited to only that. Within styles themselves, there are changes, there are differences. One style can be known for being very, very slow. But then at the same time, there are people who compose in that style who compose very, very fast things, just to keep it here at the simple level. But world music is all about diving into something new. And I hope that you have enjoyed your world music syllabus. And I hope that this video has provided you some tools for revision, also some pro tips for how to recognize one music genre as a genre in comparison to another world music genre. And I do hope that you feel prepared for your Cambridge IGCSE music listening paper.